The devil's in the details. The necropolis loomed over the Barrow Hills, the elaborate mausoleums and crooked gravestones jutting up from the shaggy grass and clinging creepers like rotting teeth in a dead man's jawbone. The wind whispered through the stones, and when it blew through the crypts, it made a moaning sound, as if the dead were troubled in their slumber. The sun had long ago passed its zenith, and as it dipped toward the horizon, fingers of shadow stretched from beneath the twisted trees and slithered from the broken stone mouths that led into the earth below. "We aren't seriously going down there after sunset, are we?" Marivor asked. He was running a silver coin across his knuckles, walking it back and forth with a smooth rise and fall of his fingers. It was something he only did when he was exceptionally nervous.
"What's the difference?"
Korak asked. The orc's muscles rippled as he shifted his heavy maul from one shoulder to the other.
"It's always dark underground."
"We will make the decision once we hear back from him," Garrick Storm said. The sorcerer's tone was placid, but something danced in his blue eyes that told his companions this was not a safe topic of conversation. "How do we know we can trust him?" Marivor asked.
"Because a bargain made is a bargain kept,"
a voice said. A creature appeared in a puff of smoke, its bat-like wings gently beating to keep it aloft. Its skin was the red of heated steel in a smith's furnace, and a pair of goat-like horns curled back from its brow. Its hooves were black and carved with symbols that hurt the eye to follow. A spaded tail lashed the air like a house cat debating whether it wished to pounce or not. Other than that, his features were like that of a perfectly formed man, save that he was barely a foot tall. Marivor's hand was on his weapon, but if the tiny devil noticed, he didn't seem to care. Garrick raised a hand, signaling for his companion to be at ease. "Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Did you find what we agreed upon?" Garrick asked the devil. The creature's mouth split into a wide, self-satisfied smile, and he nodded his head.
"Oh, yes. It seems the tale told to you is true,"
the devil said.
"There is an entrance a mile from here, marked with a single skull above the door. Inside is a cenotaph, but when opened with a lever disguised as a sconce, it opens to reveal a stairway to the stronghold of the ancient order you seek."
"And is it as dead as everything else around here?" Marivor asked.
"Oh, far from it,"
the devil said, his smile growing even wider.
"The knights who stood their vigil stand it still. Their oaths are far too strong for something as simple as death to break them. A dozen brothers of the order still stand their posts, along with their captain whose sword they all swore those oaths to all those long years ago."
"Can you draw us a map?"
Korak asked. The devil's lips slid back over his small, sharp teeth, and he flitted onto a nearby tree. Turning to the trunk, the creature pressed his claw to the bark and held it there as it hissed and charred. He scrawled with his burning digit, providing a crude diagram of what lay below the secret entrance in the forgotten tomb. He marked an entrance chamber guarded by aspirants in full armor who stood still as statues, waiting to ambush intruders. Particular attention was drawn to a large bell in the room that would summon the aid of the other brothers of the Order if it was rung. Beyond that chamber was a hallway choke point, as well as a narrow bridge over a deep pit filled with spikes. The bridge could be retracted with the pull of a lever, though it was old and would take nearly a minute for the process to complete itself. The bridge was guarded by a pair of the Knights of the Order, one bowman and one wielding a sword and shield. Beyond the portcullis was the sanctuary, where the Master of the Order still sat upon his carved ebon throne. Death had done nothing to diminish Orestes Whitefire, and he kept his vigil alongside the 3 bodyguards that made up his triumvirate. "That's all that's down there?" Marivor asked.
"It's all I saw,"
the devil replied, rubbing ashes from his hand.
"The treasures of the Order are kept in coffers locked in the rear of the chamber behind a tapestry of a praying knight."
"Very well," Garrick said, nodding to the small infernal creature. "You've done your part. The first half of your payment." The sorcerer reached into a pouch on his belt and withdrew a small, wooden cylinder that was tied shut with twine and marked with a seal of prayer. He dug his thumbnail under the seal, removing it before handing it to the devil. The creature tucked it under one arm and leveled its gaze at Garrick, watching him for a long moment.
"Luck in your endeavor,"
it said before vanishing in a puff of smoke along with its prize.
What did you mean the first half of its payment?
Korak asked after a moment.
What did the thing want?
It demanded a dozen baby teeth for this service, Garrick said, shaking his head. I don't know why, and I don't particularly care why. However, it seemed particularly interested in the destruction of this remnant of the Order of the Cenotaph, and in particular the Ebon Throne they guarded. Given that the Order also has the last piece of the Lightning Lord's staff in their vault, it was a bargain I made. Do you know what the throne does, and why he's so keen on seeing it broken? Marivor asked. I do not, but let us deal with one problem at a time, shall we? Garrick said, taking a deep breath. Small gusts of wind lifted his hair and fluttered his robes as he awakened the storm that lived in his veins. When we are the only ones left standing, those are questions we can ponder. Thank you for staying to the end of this story. The Devil's in the Details is the introductory short fiction to the supplement 100 Helpful Hirelings, and a link to that supplement can be found in the description below. Thank you again for coming to listen, and please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and follow all of us on social media so that you don't miss any of our future installments or any of the projects we have coming down the line.